you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
This is Brother Fat Caleb Abdul-Aziz, man, easy to speak, please listen about your presence. We'd like to welcome you again to our show. And the topic for this evening will be about the signs of the Lord Most High, A.H.A.D, Amen, and dealing with what's going on in our society today. One of the things that we talked about thus far, dealing with this message, for those who are not familiar with this show, and those who may have watched it already, our purpose of being here is to make the calling to our people, which are the African American people, which the Lord Most High have singled out and chosen as being favored for this day and time as a sign of His presence with us. And at the same time, we are making calling to the world about the messenger and prophet being here in time, on time, with time, Lord Holy Apostle Dean. He is here by the Lord's will and grace to show the world that it has fallen astray. It has gone from the path that the Lord has sent down from the last 7,000 years of antiquity up until this day. So our being here is part of our presentation of making you aware of the signs of the time that's going on. We're going to get into our show right now with my compadre right here, Brother Fakir. And one of the things we want to deal with is about the Lord's taking His favor, which He had placed one time when our people being chosen. For the last 26 years of Allah's calling here in this country, in this city, Lord Holy Apostle has been making the call to people about why He's here, His purpose of being here, and the Lord has graced our city, like we said before, at this time as being a new chosen city. And in doing that, our Lord is making us aware about how He is fulfilling prophecy that's revealed in the book of Malachi, which Elijah brought forth before him, who was a forerunning messenger prophet before him concerning this day. He spoke about turning the fathers' hearts back to the children and the children's hearts back to the fathers, fulfilling that prophecy in the book of Malachi that the Lord speaks about. Elijah has come and he's gone. He has fulfilled his part of his duty in making this message known. But at the same time, he spoke about someone to come after him that he told his people to wait for. And that we say He is here now. Lord Holy Apostle Dean is that man who was promised to come with the book of the Lord's covenant. At the same time, He has come with something preceding that book, which is the Divine Book of Recitation, called the precursor to the Divine Book of Recitation, which is a forewarning book, dealing with what we're about to talk about this evening on this show. So I'm going to turn to my brother here and start off our topic. Looking at our children and seeing how they are slowly being degraded, going down from what their parents have taught them, going to what we see going on now with these gangs, children disrespecting their parents, not want to obey the laws and order that's in society as a whole. What do you think is going on, and why is it happening?
His peace and blessing. A sad thing, very. I guess that's an opening statement to say that it's a sad thing. It's, the children, the young people. So disheartening in that sometimes when you try to address young people, me being a senior to them for most parts, when I encounter them in the public or whatever, and you try to address them and you speak to them or whatever, and oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, you get a disconnect, as if you can't have anything to share with them, as if they can't hear what you're saying, as if you're not a part of their experience. And particularly when you may be talking about people that you might think that are affiliated with gangs or with organizations, something like that, and being affiliated with them, being organized and involved in them, they do so and they exclude the rest of the people. They exclude their parents. They exclude their older siblings. They exclude some of us who may have something that we can share with them, that can maybe assist them in their. Like other groups of people, other groups of people in the world, other ethnic groups, and the like, that have at least have something that they can share between the younger generation and the older generation.
Well, part and parcel of that is because, like I said, The thing that the Lord Most High is making us aware of is that through the process of slavery, our people being brought here, and coming up to this day and time, we have something within us that have lacks responsibility to ourselves, first of all, the people, and then responsibility to our communities, and then responsibility as a whole to maintain our environment where we stay at. And these children, from what I'm saying, like you said before, I wouldn't go out every day, I'm a little younger than you, but going out in the public's view or going back and forth to work, seeing how these children are looking for some type of love, some type of being, called into, being favored, want to be appreciated. And one of the things that Allah has made known to us through Lord and Apostle Dean is that this is part of a prophecy and part of a curse that's been placed on our people, that they have turned away from the very thing that Elijah tried to call them to. And he's making the message known again that in order for our people to truly rise, we have to uphold what the Lord is sending down now to accept this agreement, this covenant, which is gracing this world with and our people with now. But thus far, for the last 12 years, being a part of this community, since 1993, him making the call to the people, and they have turned away, some fell on deaf ears for the most part, of accepting what Allah Azza has sent down to us through this messenger.
Yeah. You say it's a curse, and a curse is a good description, because if they're looking for love, for example, when you find out they're looking for love and understanding, but here, for example, might one come in and go, I'm looking to share love. I'm looking to give understanding. I'm seeking understanding. I'm seeking for them to understand me as well.
Right.
But here it is, we both may have these desire, but curse maybe that comes to play if we can't make the connection. And we have such a dire situation. Yes, it's just a sad thing if Lord Aiza is going to take the blessings and take the grace away from us as a people. I mean, what other sign is there that the people need to know that they are probably going to be, that they could possibly be a chosen people, just as chosen people of past times,
Right.
What better group of people, what better, I say example, would there be a group of people to look at the degradation and the state of depravity that, the state that we're in as a people, as for Lord Aiza to show us a sign, to maybe show us a sign to the world, say, I could grant my will through this and make them rise, or make them at least be esteemed in your eyes. So it's a great message we're trying to get to the young people. I mean, it would be such a tragedy. It is such a tragedy for them and us as an older generation, for all of us to miss out on.
Oh yeah. Part of that bridging the gap that we speak about, being a part of the Community of A.H.A.D, is calling our youth back, like I said, the prophecy of Malachi, of the law turning the father's hearts back to the children, and the children's heart back to the father. In doing that, we see that the part of the problem is that we have separated ourselves from our children, and then in turn they have separated themselves of not hearing the wisdom, as we say, divine God, hearing the word of the Lord coming through the older generation. They've got older. Some people have made it successful. Like we have some blacks that have become successful in the society,
Yes.
and that's part of the parcel of the problem
Young
that stems
as
from
well, yes.
That stems from us being partly cursed by the Lord, because we have risen. We think we've made it. We've got our little money, our little niche, so to speak, a little car and house in the garage, and 2 forth and so on. But the have-nots who are looking toward those people that can possibly help them, they want to join into with the rest of society and not accepting their responsibility, their duty. When I came up as a young man, growing up 65, coming in this world, the city of North, you always had a sense of community. A common unity was going around. Your people was your friends, your people were your parents, not just your physical parents, but you had other neighbors who looked out for you and cared about you, genuinely cared about you. But I've seen my last 39 years of growing up, I came at a time when it was somewhat going to a close, when we got into integration, not to describe what Martin King had done, but we used to rush so forth to join in with the Caucasian to be a part of his society. We have left what the Lord has sent down to us in doing that. And that's what the results that we see now of our children being a part of that, forsaking the commonality, that community that we had at the very beginning that kept us strong, kept us whole.
I'd like to go, if we may go back to that period, 65, that's what I remember.
Right.
And how, yes, you had these family units were more so intact than they are now. But I remember that was during an advent of Elijah. Elijah, and how across the board, as I can recall, as a youngster, as I can recall, the people clearly could identify with the teachings of Elijah. They could identify with the message about them having to join together. They could identify with the message that they had a common enemy. They knew this message all along, but he was just being open and clear about this, the message that was being given for that time. Right. But for the most part, the people disavowed it. The people, our parents, our grandparents, our people, disconnected and says, okay, I understand where he's coming from. I have no argument against him. I have no argument against the fact that we are an oppressed people. I have no argument against the fact that we have a common enemy. We have a common oppressor, whatever. But he's a little too controversial for me. He's a little too much, and I'm not going to be a part of that. Right. You know, I'd rather follow these people. Although my mother, I recall, and bless her, I love her much, you know, but taught us a long time ago about the Emmett Till story. That happened in 1955. Here we were. I mean, I was in grade school, and we learned about the Emmett Till story, and it was such a tragic event about the young man that was unfairly, was lynched and over a minor indiscretion, something like that. Right. Where his life was not treated as value, but that showed to me that she acknowledged, as well as other people of her generation and my father's generation, they acknowledged the reality that Elijah, the advent of Elijah, was talking about. You know, there was no disconnect from that. There was no disconnect. It was just the whole idea that they did not want to take a chance on following or taking hold to those teachings at the time. Instead, they would rather follow the status quo. They would rather follow that which they trusted, which was the very system per se that Elijah described as being its oppressors.
So then again, that's just like now. We in 2005, you know. We're gonna make this clear. Here in 2005, the messenger prophet is here. William Prophet Dean is here now, and he's making the same call, but on a greater scale, of calling the world into what's going on.
The prophecy of Elijah.
The prophecy of Elijah, you know, and that
the messenger.
The message that the Lord is bringing forth to the world is that the Lord is going to chastise the world and what is sending down for not obeying or disobeying its messenger, its signs, its wisdom, its divine guidance, or what is sending through this man. And part of that problem is, again, because we believe we made it, quote unquote, that we don't know, we have religion now, you know, and then we understand religion is your way of life. And most people choose their way of life, which way they live it, you know, be it they pursuit of money, pursuit of home, pursuit of they call happiness out in the world, but still forsaking that very basic thing. They need to have a relationship with the Lord.
I question whether they even understand, or whether those of us who have so-called arrived understand what we mean. You know, what the we per se. Okay. We have arrived, they say, or they think, we've arrived, but whenever we venture out to go shopping or go into the public, where this day has another possible disheartening sign of us losing the races of people, of the African American losing races of people, is the beggars that are throughout the streets. You see the beggars on every corner. You can't stop at a light. At first you thought maybe it was just a running, maybe one may question that it was just a running scam, but I think it's a new occupation. I mean, it's starting to look like those poor countries that we used to see on the commercials in the middle of the night or something like that. Okay. You know, the people, you have these people that, remember, I think the government, the president, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan described this safety net that was supposed to occur in the country when they set forth the new economic policies, you know, and the people, although they were going to become more stringent, a little tighter with the money flow, the safety net was supposed to be existing, but you have this. Looks to me like the safety net proved to be faulty, and there's an epidemic of people falling throughout the safety net. You know, it's.
One thing I've learned being around the messenger, you know, that I look at now, as you're talking about, this disproportionate amount of people who are begging. One thing he always taught me and caused me to understand is that don't people being out there in that condition, it's not for me to judge, but at the same time, I don't know why Allah Aizza put him in that position like that. So I can't take for granted and thinking like, okay, open up my heart, getting emotional and giving them, and when I don't know what purpose it is, you know, if the Lord bless me to give, then I give. But if it don't, I don't get caught up in, wow, I should have did that. Because the most people as we see now, we see some of these prophecies going on today, what happened, in Texas, New Orleans as a sign, people are emotional, but thinking about, and it's what happened to our people there is only a small sign of a great that's going to happen to the society as a whole if we don't wake up. We don't hear this man speaking to us. We don't accept the message he's giving. Take hold to the covenant that is bringing forth to us. Then we're going to be part of that prophecy like Noah, Sodom and Gomorrah. It's going to go on. And the Lord don't make any mistakes when they do a thing. We try to guess the Lord why to do a thing, why doesn't do a thing. But it's not for us to do that. It's us to be aware of the signs.
Yes.
Ask the Lord bless to recognize its sign and have mercy on us and carry on, because this world, like my man said, and brother, I'm going to quote him quick, this world's about to be gone, so to speak. And if people don't wake up, especially our people, because we have so much to gain if we accept this grace. So much, because 500 years of slavery and our people have not been diminished. But the great sign of that is that because of them 500 years, we have become a new people. We've been mixed with every race of people on the world, on this planet, and we look like everybody. We are unique in that there's a sign of the Lord doing it, as it says in the Quran. I will create a new people. If you don't hold my covenant, talk to the people of Muhammad and the people before them, you don't hold this covenant, I will exchange you for a new people. And the Lord said that was easy for it. And I'm seeing, bear witness to it now, that the Lord has done this. Just looking at our people, just looking at our skin color used, the skin color, complexions, facial features, everything. We are new people. I had a discussion with a young brother I met a couple of days ago. Brother named Mal, I'm quoting his name wrong, but I gave him a package, But we were talking about this very thing, about our people. He's talking about Africa, and I said, yeah, we can go back to Africa, but we can't go home as a people and say, well, I'm from this country, that. But every other ethnic race can do that. But we are part and parcel, a new creation by the Lord. I would let him know for this day and time. And Allah caused him to change this thing. He's like, why didn't look at it like that? I said, yeah, well, take this package with you. I gave one of my packages to read. Yes. I said, I always had line down. Stop down and get a chance to come through.
Clear teachings from Lord A.H.A.D, clear teachings from Lord Holy Apostle Dean, his messenger.
Right.
That if the people take hold of that, they will see clear and truths that are very easily weighed, that balance out. Same description of us as a new people, and you can get on any public bus and you can see that, that is true or whatever. You can see that uniquely we do not have the culture of the African ancestors per se. We're an Americanized culture per se, but we're not completely Americanized because since we have not been fully adopted by America per se, as not being fully respected citizens, so to speak, as was pointed out, we're not even fully American.
Right.
So yes, we're new, we're unique.
Well, he mentioned to me, like I said last week, that the Lord Aiza said the grace is being taken from our people. Like I said, from the past 12 years, 93, that it made the announcement that he's the measure prophet for this day and time, up to 2005, like I said before. This is the thing that people need to be made aware of, whether they believe or not. He's who the law say he is. He's standing forth on the foundation of that truth. What he is, he know what he is, and that we believe here, we believe that's what he is. And I stand firm on that because the Lord has shown me many signs of him being what he is. But like I said before, our people so foolish in their thinking about, like I said, we've made it and we've arrived. We just came back recently from the conference at the Congressional Black Caucus where the title spoke about a couple of shows ago. And being there, I saw the mindset of the people, not the very person, but one thing Allah has taught us, being with this messenger, is that leave it to Allah, let Allah guide you and feel people.
Yes. The
people's vibration, not so much what they were saying from their mouth, but what they were feeling from it, as they've made it. Yeah. We're comfortable in society. I'm all right. It's gonna be cool.
It's interesting.
No,
you talk about the people on the mindset that they've made it. But if you're talking about Lord Aiza is here present with us, and its messenger is present. It's about to exact His will about a day of judgment, which is here today. But now these so-called arrived people are actually lost in their so-called arrival. They're more lost than they are actually arrived. To miss out on this utmost important thing, this thing that
great opportunity from Allah. It's a great opportunity to accept this.
And so many of them believe in religions, or they believe in the books of past, certainly biblical scripture, Quranic scripture, and the like, and they so-called profess to adopt those types of things. They so-called believe in the messengers of the past, Jesus, Muhammad, and the like, but the reality is they can't believe that it would be a reality today.
That's partly because of the ego. Their ego. They refuse to hear Allah's calling, its messenger. That's part of the problem. When people think they've made something, they ego take in, it's like, they have become satisfied with themselves and with what they've made, In doing that, they cut themselves off. Allah says one thing in the Quran that I thank Allah much for blessing me to read His words, hear His words spoken to me, give me His insight, His wisdom. Is that seeing they see, not hearing they hear, nor they understand, they perceive what's being said. If I tell you something that the dam about to break, so to speak, and you say, yeah, like Chicken Little story, the perfect example, Chicken Little story. Sky's falling. People don't have, man, I don't hear you, yeah. I'm telling you, the sky's falling. And they feel like it's, it's all right. Mm-hmm. And then when it come down, and then they want to blame why nobody called me. You've been warned. Yeah. They scared they're going to lose something. They have something to lose in doing that. So that's part, again, like I'm saying, they don't want to take the calling seriously.
But we've all read the Chicken Little story, just as you reckon. Mm-hmm. I remember the Chicken Little story. I remember the moral to the story. Mm-hmm. We remember the moral to the biblical scriptures of Sodom and Gomorrah, the people of Noah, and of the matter of Moses, and all type of the stories in which people were warned, and the people were forewarned, and they got their just due after they ignored those warnings. And here we are, the people of the modern days. People of modern days stand outside of their books, and they stand in front of their spiritual, their religious teachers, and they'll say, those people really were foolish to not follow Moses. Those people really were foolish to not follow. And in thinking so, and in being in such a mindset, at least you would think they would at least give pause when they may hear a person call out and say, I am the messenger from the Lord of all worlds, and you should be quiet.
But it's no different.
You should take heed.
It's no different. Those people are us. We're no different than them. 7,000 years have passed on. We have greater technological advancements, media, so forth and so on. But we're still the same people. See, one thing what the Lord is showing is that man is always going to be man. And we've been taught for years, man is mind.
You mean man is going to still be man, although he's got...
No, he may have...
Will man still be man when we have spaceships?
You still want to need shelter, food, and clothing, right? Your basic necessities of life never going to change. I don't care how far you advance technologically.
Will he still be subject to his Lord of all worlds?
Still subject to the Lord of all and his laws. Years from now? His laws and orders will never change. I don't care 10,000 years from now. The Lord is still the Lord Most High on His throne, seated, manifesting, giving, causing to create, causing to be destroyed, so forth and so on. Doesn't change the Lord either. Doesn't change it. But the conditions may change for man, but the laws and orders don't change. Those are firm, they're fixed by Allah, and that's what's going to stand. We need to realize that, recognize that, ask the Lord bless us to accept that. That way we have a chance to move forward on its path to glory, to oneness with it. That's the thing that people need to know about. They need to accept. The Lord is here. It is now. Part of that sign, the messenger being here now. The Lord has heard the prayers of our forefathers. For them 5 years, send a deliverer, a redeemer, or when you want to call on. He's here.
But will it be the case that, like the people of the past, they're going to need tragedy, or they're going to need disaster, or they're going to need a physical judgment, a harsh judgment, like the people of the past that they read about, that come upon them for those who are going to be saved to be saved? Maybe the people's plight is to just get the harsh judgment. Maybe that's going to be their fate.
Yeah, that's true. But part, like I said, again, looking at that, thinking about it, Allah has done so many things for us. One of the things that Allah has shown is that anytime it raises up a messenger prophet, a major one that's bringing forth his book, it presents signs as well. And one of the things I can look back on, back in 1983, when the announcement was made known that he's the messenger prophet of the day and time, it was the hottest day of January 3rd that I can recall. They can recall in history. You can go back and look up on the internet, 1993, January 3rd. It was the warmest day for January day. That's one of the signs the Lord has showed me that it's being with this man's truth is with him why he's here. That was the sign that everybody, even the weathermen on TV announced. Even go so much farther. One of the, I don't know if the person, is she still on television now? Kaidi Tung, I believe. She was on channel 7, 4. When she did it was channel 11 when she made a statement about, there was a messenger prophet here. And it came like almost out of the blue. It was like, where'd that come from, And those who watched it, who can remember, those who bear witness to that can say, he said, then since that time, I ain't seen on TV since. So those in the media know. Okay, yeah. She was from 7 to 11, thank Allah. Just blood remember, it went from 7 to channel 11. And that, doing that, she made that, this is like, she was giving the news, next thing you know, it came out. And the messenger prophet came, then she went back into the news, and like, her face was like, Where that come from?
Or
you know?
you might share with me the correspondence that Lord Holy Apostle Dean had in fact sent out proclaiming to figures in the world,
Well, he sent out over 1,000 letters to major figureheads around the country, around the world. Like I said, from the Dalai Lama to the president at that time, which was Clinton and Gore, president, vice president, the Pope in the Vatican City, major people, influential African American people.
1,000 letters.
Yeah, to different people. And out of that came maybe about 10 responses. Not mistaken, not 11, but 1,400 letters went out. 1,400 letters went out in doing that. But only 10 responded. And the funny thing, Allah gave a sign even in that. He said, I want to get maybe 10 responses. And show forth Allah's truth is
not out of 1,000, but out of 1,400.
10 responses came.
Oh my.
10 responses. Yeah. Not of that. So that again, there's signs for me that confirm for me him being who he say he is and why he's here.
That's a sign that confirms that the people are like the people of the past.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we just have a greater movement of getting this message out. They had to go from town to town. The message had to be carried orally. But now we can go through electronic media, internet, TV, radio. See, we have all this. I said again, back to before. We have advanced technologically, but still, man's condition is still going to be saying you still need the Lord. You need to have His guidance, His insight, His agreement for your personal life. See, one thing that we have let go as people, religious people, so to speak, they have gotten to this thing that I got my religion on Sunday or Friday or Saturday, and the rest of the week I go about doing my thing. But in the analysis of a thing, it still comes back to the individual relationship with your Lord. Either you obey it or you disobey. Either you accept it or you not accept it. What the Lord is saying to you, what is given to you. And that's one of the things that should be made known, is pertinent to us as being a part of this way, this community, this day and time. What's going on? We need that. We need the Lord. I don't care what nobody try to say. We need the Lord for this day and time. It's not about emotions, but it's about thinking. One of the things that makes this message so clear to me, the common sense is coming in. It's kind of sense that it's reaching to within me, individuals like yourself and other people that have heard him, to give them a chance to actually think, to ponder, reflect over something that the Lord may click in their mind, that they thought about, dismissed, not taking heed to, the calling of their soul, the conscience, the voice of the soul, hearing it, then not hearing it, rejecting it. But now that's one thing the Lord is making us aware of, that we need to start being in tune, knowing ourselves, going within ourselves to truly be awakened to the great gift and blessing that the Lord is sending to us if we just take heed. That's one of the things that's so important that we need to know about.
Can't help but reflect, though, maybe it's the people that don't want to hear. Maybe I'm more comfortable with not hearing this message. Maybe.
You know why? Because once you made known, now you're accountable. That's one thing Allah has always taught us through this man.
But interestingly,
accountability.
I have the message.
Not be the one accountability.
By the fact that they don't want to hear it, they're already accountable. By the fact that they're trying to hide. They're trying to hide from the Lord.
Yeah, that's true. That's true indeed.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight.